this gap? That $39 difference isn't convenience, it's a $1,200 annual leak. You're paying premium Kharcha rates because you treat superchargers like gas stations. Do that 3 times a week, and you quietly torch 4 figures a year. This isn't fast charging, it's voluntary overspending. Smart charging isn't loud, it's deliberate. Stay sharp. Audit your supercharging dependency, check your last 30 days of charging. Don't guess. Open the Tesla app and look at the session count, total kilowatts hour, and how often you used a supercharger. If you're plugging into DC fast charging 2 or 3 times per week for normal city driving, that's not occasional use, that's dependency. Most daily commutes are under 40 miles. Even with a modest energy buffer, overnight AC charging would cover that easily. But convenience rewires the habit. You finish work, you see a supercharger, you plug in. It feels efficient. It feels proactive. Here's what most people miss. DC fast charging isn't designed to be your default fuel source. It's optimized for speed during travel. When it becomes routine for short, predictable driving, you're paying premium rates for energy you had time to buy cheaper. Pull up your charging history and calculate your real pattern. How many of those sessions were truly necessary for a trip? How many were simply convenient stops? This isn't about restriction, it's about alignment. Match your charging method to your actual usage. AC for predictable daily miles, supercharging for distance and time pressure. When you shift that ratio, cost per mile drops quietly. And over a year, quiet changes add up. Eliminate idle drain at premium rates. Turn off unnecessary loads when you're parked at a supercharger, especially Sentry mode and cabin overheat protection. Here's why. While you're paying peak DC rates, your car can still be consuming energy after charging slows or even finishes. Security cameras stay active, climate control may cycle, background systems keep the vehicle awake. That slow battery drain doesn't look dramatic on the screen, but it's happening at premium cost per kilowatts hour. That's phantom drain at retail pricing. Most owners focus only on the energy added during the session. They ignore the idle state. You plug in, you walk away, you check your phone later. Meanwhile, a few extra kilowatt hours disappear while the car sits in a high-demand pricing window. It's a small leak, but small leaks repeated weekly aren't small anymore. Finish your session. Check the charge complete notification. If you're remaining at the stall, shut off Sentry unless you truly need it. Let the car sleep once charging tapers or completes. Superchargers are built for quick turnover. Stay, charge, leave. You're not just managing energy, you're managing when and where you pay for it. Control idle behavior, and your per-session cost drops quietly without sacrificing range or convenience. Avoid peak pricing windows. Check the rate before you plug in, not after. Superchargers don't operate on flat pricing. Tesla's own support page shows that fees vary based on location and time, and congestion fees apply when you stay plugged in past 80% or during peak demand. That means the same amount of energy can cost more simply because you arrived at the wrong moment. Evening rush hours often carry higher demand and higher effective rates. Arrive at 5 p.m. because it fits your routine, and you may be paying a convenience premium. Open the in-car navigation. Tap the supercharger icon. Tesla displays anticipated pricing windows right on the map. Use that information deliberately. If you have even a small scheduling buffer, shift the session by 30 to 60 minutes. Charge later in the evening when demand drops, or stop earlier in the afternoon if your routine allows. This isn't about obsessing over pennies, it's about making timing part of your charging decision. Where you charge matters, but when you charge matters just as much. Over time, this discipline lowers your blended cost per mile without changing how you drive. Check your last supercharging rate. Drop the per kilowatts hour below. Stop wasting energy on short-distance preconditioning. Avoid navigating to a supercharger when it's only a few miles away and you're not in a rush. Here's why. When you set a supercharger as your destination, the car begins battery preconditioning. The thermal management system adjusts the battery temperature to an optimal window for fast DC charging. That improves charging speed. It's smart engineering, but that heating or cooling uses energy. If the charger is 5 minutes away and your battery is already in a reasonable temperature range, the system may still begin a thermal ramp-up. You arrive with a warmer pack, but you've already consumed extra kil after just getting there. For long highway drives, this makes sense. Faster charging offsets the energy used. For short city trips, the math changes. You might spend additional energy to save only a few minutes at the stall. Check your situation before you tap navigate. If it's cold outside and you need maximum charging speed, preconditioning helps. If it's a mild day and you're topping up casually, aggressive heating may not be necessary. Watch the energy graph after short trips. Notice the consumption spike. That's not random. Preconditioning is a tool. Use it when speed matters. Skip it when efficiency matters. Over time, small inefficiencies stack up. Controlling when you trigger battery conditioning keeps your charging focused on range, not unnecessary preparation. Limit high-frequency DC fast charging. Reduce how often you rely on DC fast charging for routine use. Recent real-world battery health data from more than 22,700 EVs shows an average annual degradation rate of about 2.3%. And vehicles that rely heavily on high-power DC fast charging above 100 kilowatts experience higher degradation, up to roughly 3% per year, compared with mainly lower-power charging. Fast charging doesn't destroy batteries instantly, but frequency and power level do influence long-term battery wear patterns. AC charging at home uses lower power and creates a gentler thermal profile. DC fast charging pushes more current and heat into the pack faster, which increases stress on the cells over time. Here's what to do. Keep supercharging for highway travel and long legs. Use level 2 or home charging for predictable daily miles. Balance your charging mix instead of defaulting to the fastest option. Watch how often your car hits high temperatures during short urban use. Small patterns repeated weekly shape the long-term trend. Balanced charging habits help preserve battery capacity and price perception in the used market. Without eliminating fast charging altogether, compare networks before you plug in. Check all available options before choosing a charger. Tesla's Supercharger network is fast, integrated, and easy to use. Navigation routes you there automatically. Pricing appears on screen. It feels seamless. But seamless doesn't always mean lowest cost. In many regions, third-party networks such as Electrify America or EVgo publish competitive rates. With a membership plan, the price per kilowatt-hour can drop further. Sometimes the difference per kilowatt-hour is meaningful across a 40 or 50 kilowatt-hour session. Open a charging map or app before you commit. Compare cost per kilowatt-hour. Notice whether the station bills per minute or per energy delivered. Look for session fees. Review idle policies. A lower posted rate can still carry conditions, so read carefully. If your Model 3 or Model Y supports a CCS or NAS adapter, you're not limited to one ecosystem. That adapter expands your charging radius. It turns public infrastructure into optional leverage. Also consider context. How full is the site? What's the charging speed in kilowatts? A slightly slower charger at a lower rate may still reduce your total cost if you're parked long enough to benefit from the price difference. Make the plug-in decision intentional. You don't need loyalty when you have compatibility. When you compare networks before connecting, you begin managing charging like an operating expense, not a routine stop. Over months of ownership, that discipline reduces your blended energy cost without changing how you drive. Bottom line, the real loophole. Stop looking for a hidden code. The real loophole is behavioral. Supercharging isn't the problem. Defaulting to it is. Electricity has layers of cost. The rate you pay per kilowatt-hour, the idle drain while the car sits awake. The long-term wear pattern from frequent DC fast charging. Most owners see only the first layer. Here's the simple model. Charge at home when you can. Use superchargers when distance or time truly demands it. Check pricing before you plug in. Turn off what you don't need. Compare networks when it makes sense. That's it. You don't need hacks. You need alignment between how you drive and how you charge. When you treat energy like an operating expense instead of a routine stop, cost per mile drops quietly. Over years, that discipline protects both cash flow and resale perception. If you'd rather keep your money than donate it to the grid, subscribe.